Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kurt, this is my gym, and I'm gonna be showing you how I set up for the Viking Press so that I can train for strongman events in my home gym. Now this is the total setup. We're looking at it. It's basically, I'm gonna go over it as a whole, and then we're gonna break it down so you can see all the individual pieces and see how I train this movement safely, which is the big thing, and effectively so that I can go and dominate at competitions. So first off, I have the Mutant Metals UDA handles, but really any handles will work. The reason I like the Mutant Metals ones is because they're solid steel, they're absolutely fantastic, they feel good in the hand, and that knurl is to die for. Those are attached to the Figjammer, which is an absolutely awesome tool available from Black Widow Training Gear, which is then attached to my Rep Fitness Double Black Diamond bar, but any bar will work here. I've got my plates here from Weighted Out being held all the way up against the sleeve by my Rulox collars from AbMap, and then at the very back of the implement, I have the hinge set up with a Cleverbuilt Adroit Landmine that is rack attached, and all of that is using 2 stealth spotters from Surplus Strength. Real quick before we get into this, if you are setting up for this movement at home and your plan is to use a post landmine, I highly do not recommend that. Now, way back in like 2016, 2017 timeframe, I was preparing for a Viking Press in a competition, and I was using my yoke as this basic forward safety to act as the resting point. And I was using a post landmine that was in some plates, and I had a situation where when I put the apparatus down, it actually caused the entire thing to shift forward and fall onto my foot, which was a really big deal at the time. I actually thought it was broken. I did that whole thing where I like limped away. I thought it was totally cool. It swelled up quite a bit. It ended up healing just fine. I don't have any long-term issues, but please do not use a post landmine because it's just not safe. Additionally, if you're going to be using a landmine like I am, I'm going to show you how I do it safely utilizing a new piece of equipment from Surplus Strength, which is their newest pins, which have this hole up in the front that allows for a carabiner. Now, what I was using before the Surplus Strength new pin came out is I was using my Henny straps. These are the Henny strap mounts that go up into the top of the rack, and these work just fine. They're probably a little less expensive. I'm actually not sure if you can just buy these by themselves from the Henny, but I like this solution a lot better. It's just more refined, easier to put in. It doesn't have this little cotter pin thing. And like those little details really matter. So out with the old, in with the new. Now I'm gonna show you how I have this set up. So it all starts right here at my rear cross member. Now something for all of you at home, if you have a 6-post rack, this step I'm about to do may not be necessary. My intent with this is because I'm in a 4-post rack with a 43-inch inside depth. What I find is that usually more than half the barbell is sticking off the front end of the implement. And what that does is it causes a lot of, when you set the bar down, like just a lot of bend. It's unnecessary, plus it's just a little bit more unsafe. I also like it because it allows me to work further back in the gym instead of being over at the front of my platform. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this first stealth spotter and I'm going to basically extend my rack 24 inches to the back. Now, if you set your rack up too close to the wall, obviously this won't work for you, so you might have to do some other variation on the setup, but this is what I do and it works really well. So there we have it. This stealth spotter is set up so it's about at shoulder height. The top of the unit is at shoulder height. Now I'm gonna take that safety pin that I was talking about. Now these are the new ones from Surplus Strength. And like I said, they allow for a carabiner to be inserted into the end. And what this is gonna do is, you'll see later, I'm gonna be using some nylon webbing to make sure that I retain the bar inside of the landmine so that it doesn't go scooting off the front, causing hate and discontent. So now that I have the safety in, what I'm gonna do is take my Cleverbuilt Adroit Landmine. Now this is a rack attached style landmine. I'm gonna insert it so that it's about 18 to 20 inches back from the upright, which for me leaves 2 holes at the very end of the safety, and that's where that's going to live. Then what I find is I take this pin, I insert it into the very last hole, take the carabiner, insert it into the hole, and now we're ready to throw our barbell in the landmine. The easiest way to do this is just to have one end of the barbell on the floor going that way, come over here, insert it into the landmine, Now for the safety side of the house, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be using this ATV tie-down strap. I'm pretty sure that's where I got this, although it might be, I don't know. Basically, I have a piece of nylon here, so it's gonna vary depending on what you do. But I use this piece of nylon to basically wrap around the barbell and then clip into the carabiner so that there's no way for the barbell to completely pull out of the landmine going the other direction. So here's the strap, wrap it around the barbell right in front of where the sleeve is. And you're gonna put it all the way up against the sleeve so that there's no way for it to move at all. And you're gonna pull it nice and tight. And then take the other end and go to this carabiner and clip it into place. Now what this is gonna do is allow for the barbell to move slightly forward, because in this movement, you're going to be kind of pulling up and away. And even if I pull up and away as far as this thing can go, it is still stuck inside of this landmine, which is going to be the safety bit that saves your ankles and your body from getting crushed by hundreds and thousands of pounds because you guys are so strong. So now for the other side of the implement. Now what I used to do back in the day is I would take a normal J cup and I would insert it over here and I would set it in the rack. And then what I would end up doing is I would come over, walk the bar out, do my presses, and then I'd have to walk it back into place. But there was a couple issues. One, what the Viking press, you tend to face away. So you're doing all of that blind. And you don't want to do that blind because it's just kind of terrifying, especially if you're at like a 1 RM or some sort of heavy max and you can't see it. What you don't want to happen is that you walk in it and you miss it, and then this is going to crash down to the floor. So what I found that works a lot better is I move the J-cup out of the way and take a second safety spotter arm. Now I'm using these stealth spotters because I just think they work the best. And then you're going to set it up, and this is going to be at a slightly lower height so that the Viking press movement, when you have it in the hands, is going to be mostly just going straight up and down. So for me, I like to go right at about nipple height, chest height. Go ahead and pin that in for safety. And then you can drop the bar onto the top, and we can see that what we can do here is once we have it all set up, is we can actually do our presses and then just drop it straight onto the bar. This does a couple things for us. One, it is safer to do when you're by yourself in your home gym. And two, it's a little bit closer to what a Viking press setup would be in a competition space. Usually in a Viking press setup, you don't unrack it, walk it out, do your Viking press, and then walk it back in and set it down. I've never seen a competition where that occurs. But with this one, we can do that low pick that you typically do, get up into the fire position, fire away, and then just drop it back into place. One other thing I find is you can take your drink spotter and you can just put it right there on the end of the safety spotter so that you can maintain your drink safety, because when you're drinking your UXO supplements in the gym, the last thing you need is for it to fall down. Using these Helix bottles is also pretty amazing because they're made in USA out of non-BPA materials. So take and go check out M777 pre-workout at the link down below. Be sure to use code KL10, which gets you 15% off at checkout. And don't forget to use your drink spotter because nobody likes a spilled drink. That being said, from here, I'm gonna put some plates on the bar just so that we can test this movement out. And I'm using these weighted out plates because they're nice and thin. They weigh what they say they weigh, and because when you put the next attachment on, you're gonna find that it takes up some barbell space. So if you're using deep dish plates or using bumper plates, there's a really good likelihood that you will run out of space on the bar. So we're just gonna take 90 pounds just for the sake of demonstration. And again, what I like to do is I like Abmat Rulox collars. They work really well for a movement like this, because they're easy to put on. They're also really easy to take off, and they grip super well on this Rep Double Black Diamond bar. Now I'm gonna take my Viking press attachment, the Figjammer plus the Mutant Metal arms, slide it into place, tighten it down, and there we have it. Your Viking press setup is complete. So now what you have is the ability to get into position, grab the handles, unrack, and perform the movement. Additionally, you can just set it back down on the safeties and you're good to go. So this is how I set this up in my garage gym. I think it works really well. It mimics the movement really well, and it's also safe because in the event that for whatever reason, the bar does come out It's held in place by that nylon strap, and I literally cannot pull this hard enough to get it out. So everybody at home, tell me what you think. Is the Viking Press something you're interested in doing? If you're interested in competing in Strongman, especially at the Throwdown at Home Gym Con in 2025, the Viking Press is gonna be a movement that you're gonna do. This is how I set it up, and I hope to hear how you set it up in the comments down below. Appreciate each and every single one of you that watch the videos, especially all the way to the end like this. Please, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out, it helps you out. Please use my affiliate links to help support the channel, help me grow this thing to be what I want it to be. And be sure to check out tickets for Home Gym Con. I'll have the link down below. Code KL10 saves you some money off at Home Gym Con tickets. And I hope to see some of you sign up for the Throwdown competition this year. That's been it for this video. Appreciate you. I'll see you next week.